Have you noticed it lately? The extreme amount of anger that is in the world. We're all angry about something. We're seething, actually, and we've stopped being kind to each other. Hi, my name is Eva Marie Everson, and I am the author of The Third Path. The Third Path takes a look at the questions, or 26 of the questions, that God asked in the Bible, specific questions that he was asking those he wanted to communicate with, those he wanted to communicate with him, just to sit down and draw into this place of intimacy. I want to talk to you for just a minute about that. I want to talk to you about how this whole thing began, because I think it's important to understand where this all came from. And you're going to hear me, and I'm going to read to you from the first section of the book, which talks about how the whole thing started, but also why the questions of God are so important. Now, there is a little Hebrew in here, and I'm probably going to butcher it. So all of my Hebrew-speaking friends will go, ah, but that's okay. This is titled The Real Beginning. This is what the Lord says. Stand at the crossroads and look. Ask for the ancient paths. Ask where the good way is and walk in it, and you will find rest for your souls. That's from Jeremiah 6:16. Doesn't that sound wonderful? Couldn't your soul just use a little rest? The sun rose full mast over the verdant hills of Galilee, casting harsh light along the sand-colored plains and lifting the hue of an already brilliant blue sky to a more vibrant sapphire. We had left Nazareth only a short while earlier, we 6 journalists, one Israel Ministry of Tourism representative, and one tour guide named Miriam, to head into the ancient ruins of Zippori, known also as Sepphoris. I wiped June-inspired sweat from the line of my brow as Miriam spoke words she repeated for 25 years or more, encouraging those who heard her to find the spiritual connection in the land where Jesus grew up, where he lived with his family, played with his siblings, the towns where he worked, the country where he strapped on leather sandals to begin a 3.5-year journey, telling all within earshot that the God of their forefathers loved them still, loved them more, in fact, and wanted them to return to a deeper relationship than mere religion could offer. The earth beneath my sandals crunched in welcome as I stepped into the vastness of a Roman theater, once proud and boasting stone seats for 4,500. I closed my eyes as Miriam continued, hoping I could hear them, those who sat and watched actors perform their craft. At times, those spectators were as silent as the stones around them. But then at an act's end, they cheered as eloquently as the birds whose songs now rose on a wave of dry heat around me. Remnants of carved columns lay among the dust, displayed, but no longer useful for holding up much more than the heavy air. We have every reason to believe, Miriam told us, that as tectons, or stonemasons, Jesus and his father Joseph would have been among the craftsmen who helped rebuild Zippori during the 1st century of our common era. In his day, most especially during his youth, one of the largest restoration projects in Israel's history took place in Zippori. We gaped in wonder, wetting dry lips and tongues thirsty for water. Jesus and Joseph, who lived and worked less than 5 miles southwest of the large Roman-influenced city, could have, probably would have, been among the number of laborers, Miriam told us. I gazed over my shoulder, hoping for a glimpse of the young Messiah walking alongside his father. Tools and small sacks of food to sustain them for the day, carried in hands roughened by their trade. Robes billowing in the light breeze of their steps, their faces turned toward each other, their smiles broad enough to show pearl white teeth against Mediterranean bronze skin. I reached out to touch the rough and faded carving that remained along the curve of one column and decided that hearts. He could have placed his hand there too. He could have pushed the chisel into the stone and tapped. We kept moving. We saw the Mona Lisa of the Galilee, felt a gentle breeze as we moved along the tree-lined city limits, which welcomed us back to where our journey into this fragment of history began. I noticed them then, the places where men sat and discussed the things of God, similar in shape to the amphitheater, arranged like a horseshoe, those seats of debate. Questions, 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 Miriam would later say to me. When it comes to the things of God, hafak ba, v'hafak ba. Turn it over and turn it over. A gardening term, but it fits here as well. And so I have. In some ways, since that day in Zippori, I have turned it over and turned it over until the soil of my spirit, the rich earth of who I am, is ready for the harvest. How does God reveal the heart of man to man? I wonder. Questions. The Orthodox believe, Miriam went on to teach me, that God dwells in every one of the questions he asks. But what answers does God not have that led him to ask these questions? None, of course. He does not ask so he can know the answers, but so the answers are revealed to us, by us, and through the provoking and prodding of his Spirit. But why should he feel the need to lend us his questions so we understand ourselves and, in turn, him better? What is he trying to explain to us by the power of our words back to him? I wonder. 5 years after my first visit, I returned to Israel, this time alone. Miriam waited for me just beyond the gates of the modern and polished Ben Gurion Airport, where she greeted me with a tight hug and a smile as wide as the one I'd once imagined Jesus's to be. Then she whisked me away for nearly 2 weeks spent with the two of us, walking and climbing, driving and writing the land of the Bible. And for nearly 2 weeks, in every public place, I listened intently as men and women gathered in circles of discussion, debating the things of God while his Spirit hovered and dipped and dove and danced among the questions raised to him, sometimes in reverence, sometimes in fury, sometimes in fear. But always it seemed with an open heart and open mind, open eyes, open ears. May we do nothing less. So that's the opening. And I started off by saying, have you noticed how angry we all are lately? And then I jumped into this because I think that there is a question within the word that we need to explore. And it's plain and simple. It's the one that God asked one of the first children ever, Cain. Why are you so angry? Why is your face downcast? Now, we won't look at that today. You might want to take some time to look at it yourself. And I do want to encourage you. This is my book, The Third Path. We go into a lot of detail here, much more than I'm going to do on the videos. It's available through Amazon. Of course, you can go to your favorite bookstore, check it out, and ask them, do you carry The Third Path by Eva Marie Everson, published by Bold Vision Books. And they were such a joy to work with. I just love BVB, as I call them. I hope you'll take this journey with me. We're going to talk a little bit through videos for just a short while, but I hope that you'll take the time to grab a copy of the book, grab a journal. We're working on a journal that will coincide with the book right now, but we don't have that out yet. So grab your favorite journal, your favorite pen, and sit down and study these stories as I open them up for you and see what answers will come to the pages of your journals that you are giving back to God. He's given you the questions. Now give him your answers. And next time we come together, we'll talk about why we're so angry, because that just seems to be the norm these days, doesn't it? Until then, my name is Eva Marie Everson. You can find out more about me at Eva Marie Everson author.com. Don't go to evamarieeverson.com. That is a name squatter. It's not me. And so you'll find me at Eva Marie Everson author.com. You can contact me through my website. I look forward to hearing from you. I will see you next time. Until then, bye for now.